Good morning. I have had this on my calendar for about 6 months. I got the hit to start doing a live YouTube video once a week, and I haven't done it because it hasn't felt like right time. And then this morning, I got that it's time to do it. And then I didn't realize you had to request to do live videos on YouTube. So I'm recording this one. And then the intention is to potentially continue doing these. My intention here is to bring forth the fairy realm that I mention in some of my Gene Key videos, to give you an opportunity to visualize, meditate, connect to your energy with me, to hear and to share the channeled wisdom that I receive from the Fae. And with the intention of, the Fae told me about a year ago that they want to be talked about more. And from my perspective, and they told me that it's time for them and myself to stop hiding. So here I am, speaking from not just someone else's work like I do with the Gene Keys and human design, but sharing my own perspectives from my own experiences, and the fairy realm who have had my attention my entire life, but who I have not taken seriously is not the right word, because the Fae aren't necessarily serious. But who I have not who I have dismissed as a silly childhood connection. And it was a year ago actually, last August, I had a friend whose boyfriend he buys and sells people's, what people would assume is junk, and he sells them at swap meets. And he finds the most amazing things. And I went to this friend's birthday party, and when I arrived, she came running up to me and she's like, "Oh my goodness, I have a present for you." I was like, "Why do you have a present for me? It's your birthday." And she told me her boyfriend was bargaining this bunch of stuff. And on the top were these fairy oracle cards. And she said to him, she said, "Those are for Juliana." And he kind of told her to stop because he wasn't finished bargaining for all of those goods yet. And when I arrived at her birthday party, she gave me these cards. And so I've been working with them for about a year. But when I first started working with them last summer, the message that came very, very loudly was, "Do you get it yet? Do you get it that we want to work with you? And we've been wanting to work with you, and we're not just a figment of your childhood imagination." So here I am, a year later, with them. The fairy realm is very near and dear to me. I played with them in the garden when I was just a child. The fairy realm has offered me light in many dark times. They have brought me hope, and they have offered me wisdom. They have gone and found my cat that went missing for a few days. They have found lost keys that I somehow dropped into the compost bin, debit cards, and they have gently nudged me at the most darkest times to see light. And so they've really been very important. They're not even guides. They're like, I mean, they're guides, but they're like my companions. They are very special to me. And to some degree, it feels quite vulnerable sharing them, even though I know it's the next step in what is here to occur. So at some point down the road, I'm going to tell you what the Fae have told me about what they're here doing on this planet, about why people misunderstand them, and about how they see the world and this energy here. But today, what I felt really called to do was to share some wisdom that's coming through around this current transit that we're in, which is gate or gene key 31, which is all about sounding your truth. It's all about the shadow of arrogance, the gift of leadership. And I bring forth the transits because it's all together, right? It's all, everything works in conjunction with everything else. There is nothing that is not influencing something else. And I work with the transits of the gene keys in human design quite closely to some degree. I mean, as closely, I think, as a 3-line would, because I love to jump into I got to listen to my right timing and the pulse of my root as to whether there's energy there for it or not. But what I will, and so this morning it was like, okay, it's time to go and do this, and we're going to talk about this sounding your truth, because this is what's sometimes known as the leadership gate, the gate of the alpha, about being a leader. And leadership starts on the inside. This is what the Fae were saying this morning. It starts inside us. There's so much that happens in this world where we are giving our power away to other leaders, where we give our ideas, where we give our choices, where we allow ourselves to be influenced by the other potential thoughts, beliefs of other people, other organizations, other than who we are. And so for me, this transit, and it being Leo season, right? This like the leader of a pride of lions is the leader, because they are so confident within themselves. And leaders are here to serve people, others, animals, the earth. Leaders are not here to rule through force, through manipulation. Leaders are here to lead from their heart to the heart of others. And so as I was tapping in this morning around what this means, so I work with these fairy cards, and I sometimes look at the book, but I've been guided to mostly just draw on what wants to come through me as opposed to relying on the book. And the two cards that came up was this guy here, which is Solus. It's a sun. He is the sun. And what the deck creators called Nellis, the alchemist. And so what comes through for me here is Nellis, if you can see her wings are kind of tattered in the back. And she looks serious. She's got a job to do. And there's another little gnome down in the corner there, kind of laughing. Nellis is focused, and she's done a lot of hard work. A lot of hard work on herself. A lot of hard work in bringing more light into the world. And she's not paying attention to her tattered wings. She's paying attention on the joy and what's coming forth, where she's headed. It's like a lighthouse. I see it as a lighthouse. She's focused on where she's headed. And leaders don't become leaders without going through the shit. Leaders don't become leaders, true leaders, leaders of the heart, don't become leaders without first turning within and really connecting to your own truth. And this is incredibly challenging in a world that is constantly manipulating us. Whether that's through our family systems, which is not deliberate, right? It's not deliberate. It just is the way that it is. Whether it's through our educational system, which to some degree, I think there is some deliberate manipulation that happens there. Not necessarily from the people teaching the subjects, but from the higher intention of it. There's manipulation in our governments, in our countries, in our television, in our media. And you need to be pretty fucking brave to turn towards your heart and look towards the truth of who you are. And be brave enough to then share that with your right people. Right? A leader of the heart knows who to speak to, who their right people are, and trusts in the right timing. And so we are being called to be like Nellis, to turn in and to really challenge all of the beliefs that we have been presented with and conditioned with throughout our lives. I know I'm walking through this significantly right now. Right? With all of the more subtle parts, the more parts that are so insidious about what it means to be successful, what it means to have a supportive relationship, what it means to have a family, what it means to have a home. All of these things that are so deeply ingrained in us, that are often very blanket statements. A loving relationship is this. Success is this much money. A home is one that you own and will die in and live in for 50 years. And so much of this is being reworked right now in our culture. People are redefining what things mean. It's beautiful. It's part of this ascension, this evolution that we're all on. And so Nellis is calling us. She's going, it's like, go within. Don't fight, but more turn towards what scares you within you. Can you be brave enough? Can you sit in the discomfort to to be uncomfortable in challenging your perspectives about yourself and other people. Right? One of my great challenges in myself is to believe that I am worthy of care and love and support. And any evidence that I find that my RAS, my reticular activation system, and based on my limiting beliefs in my past, it will hook on to any tiny little evidence that I'm not loved and not supported. And she's saying, bust through that. This stuff's done. We're done with this. And she's saying it takes solidity. It takes courage. This doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It doesn't mean that you don't get knocked down, right? Her wings are tattered. If it takes courage. I mean, me just talking about this right now is something that I have been, this is what I love to talk about more than anything. And I've been pushing it aside. I've been ignoring it. I've been trying to fit myself into what I thought I should talk about, what my business should look like. And it's been reading all of your lovely comments about my transmission that I received through the Gene Keys that has helped give me the courage that there's something to what I say. So I thank you very, very much. The next card that came up was Solace. Solace is the light. He is the sun. He is saying we are the sun. He is saying we are the light. There are no saviors other than ourselves. It is our remembering of our light that changes things. It is the remembering of our power that changes things. We aren't waiting for some light to save us. We are the light. We only get this light when we move through what scares us. When we move through the discomfort of what scares us. Solace is hope. Like even solace kind of sounds like solace, right? There's hope in the sun. There's direction, there's guidance in the sun. I'd like to invite you just to settle in, and I'm just going to do a little light language, light code blessing. I thought I was going to do a meditation, but that's not what's happening. So I'm just going to trust it. This is part of my work with Nellis, the alchemist, is to alchemize my own fear about what I think I should do and just trust what comes next. Which I do with my one-on-one clients. It's amazing how much more challenging it is when it comes to yourself. Ushkira iskaro yoto, ushiria usoro yito, akstoro ashikaraya, akstoro akshikriya, asukiroa. Shkiruya, Shkriya Kutsti, Shkriya Ksti, I Kostoro, Kostoro, Ashukriatu, Askikstoro, Akikstoro, Ashkistarayaso, Ayake. Ushkriya, ushkriya, ushkriya. Ayistu yamina yistu. Ayisyu yamina yistu. Stotro, stotro, stotro. Askruyo, askruyo, achkruya. Askostro, 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 ikruyotu. Shkriyashtu, ishkriyatu, ushkriyatu, askro, 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 ashkira, shkro, shkriya, shkro. You are much stronger than you think. You are much more powerful than you give yourself credit for. This is the time to begin seeing it, just even in tiny glimpses. The more you can glimpse it in little bits, the more it adds up. Ushkriya stukira ushkriya tu ashkriyaru shkru 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 asukira ushkru ayako ishkriya shkriya 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 amiskro 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 shikra 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 muskro amiskro amiskro shikra 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 askirako askirayasko ushkro ushkro ushkro. There is no one like you, and you are like everyone. What you see outside of you is a reflection of what's inside. If it scares you, turn towards what's inside. If it delights you, turn towards what's inside. It is all you. All the shadows out there are fought in here. What we dislike out there is alchemized in here. Ushkaraya skoko ayashikiraya ushkaraya shikiraya ayasokoro ayashikiraya shikiraya shikiraya. Thank you for watching. Many blessings.